Falmouth Orthopedic Center, Central Maine Orthopedics, OA Centers for Orthopedics, all playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Winter People Athletics creates custom athletic apparel, including team uniforms and spirit wear. They support team sports programs by offering a variety of clothing and other merchandise which can be personalized with team logos, player numbers and names, and various other options. They can also provide innovative custom screen printing and embroidered apparel to create fun and engaging fan and booster items to sell for your team fundraising efforts. Call Steve Haynes, Athletic Apparel Consultant, at 207-869-6019 or online at winterpeople.com. For 37 years, the Bowles family has been selling Napa Auto Parts in Hancock County, and every February they make the trip to Bangor, Portland, and Augusta to cheer on the local basketball teams. And with their new Napa Auto Parts stores in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford, they have some new teams to cheer for. Like the kids out on the court, the Bowles family understands that doing business takes teamwork and dedication. Whether you're getting a belt for your sled, running a garage, or keeping your car and truck in tip-top shape, they're here to help. Visit your locally owned Napa Auto Parts in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford today.
Look, I get it. We all got snowed in last week. You're just now getting shoveled out. And when somebody mentions something to you about summer camps, your only thought is, can I go to it right now so that I don't have to deal with the snow anymore? Totally get that. However, this February vacation week, if you're home with your kids, there is one thing that you're going to remember. If you don't have something for your kids to do, you're going to be in for a long summer. Registration is now open for University of Southern Maine's summer camps. They've got basketball, they've got soccer, they've got ice hockey, and they have a ton more. I haven't even scratched the surface on this. Find the registration links now. Go to usm.maine.edu. That's usm.maine.edu and search summer camps, or find the links right now at mbr.org. And maybe get them in shape for some of these summer camps by letting them shovel off the roof or something like that. Or the deck. Or the car. Or maybe the big wheel. Either way. University of Southern Maine summer camps, where kids should spend the summer.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to
I get it. We all got snowed in last week. You're just now getting shoveled out. And when somebody mentions something to you about summer camps, your only thought is, can I go to it right now so that I don't have to deal with the snow anymore? Totally get that. However, this February vacation week, if you're home with your kids, there is one thing that you're going to remember. If you don't have something for your kids to do, you're going to be in for a long summer. Registration is now open for University of Southern Maine's summer camps. They've got basketball, they've got soccer, they've got ice hockey, and they have a ton more. I haven't even scratched the surface on this. Find the registration links now. Go to usm.maine.edu. That's usm.maine.edu and search summer camps, or find the links right now at mbr.org. And maybe get them in shape for some of these summer camps by letting them shovel off the roof or something like that. Or the deck. Or the car. Or maybe the big wheel. Either way. University of Southern Maine summer camps, where kids should spend the summer.
Full Court Press is on your team. Full Court Press is more than just a coffee shop. Some of their print services include color copies, black and white copies, posters, bindings, calendars, cards, business cards, and every door direct mail. They're located at 855 Main Street in Westbrook. Call them today at 207-464-0002 or request an estimate, place an order, and much more on their website at fullcourtpress.biz. That's fullcourtpress.biz. When you need a copy shop to bring the heat, it's time to hire Full Court Press.
From the Androscoggin Bank Coliseum in Lewiston, Maine, alongside the coach Dave Wing, I'm Caleb Lamb here with you for our first of two in a doubleheader of Class A North Regional Ice Hockey action. First up for you, we've got the number 1 seed, the Lewiston Blue Devils, on their home ice, playing host to the Bangor Rams against a team that they saw last year at this time in the playoffs. But my, how things can change in the course of a year, Coach, where last year Lewiston pretty much as dominant record-wise, but as we've seen during the regular season, not quite the same team, while Bangor has a couple of options, and they'll be looking to surprise some folks if they can pull the upset here tonight.
Well, for most of the year, Bangor was the number 2, sometimes the number 3 seeded team. They ended up being the number 4 seeded team, but they've played well. We did a game here early in the year where it was 2-1 going into the third period, and then Bangor committed a couple penalties. Lewiston capitalized on the power plays and ended up winning 5-1. So score-wise, it seemed like a blowout, but we felt it was much closer than that.
And this is a team that defensively has a pretty good scheme. They know how to go and make things happen when they get themselves an opportunity. And they've got a couple of players, most notably Nick Boudreau, to pay attention to. 15 goals scored over the course of the season. And their starting goaltender, Jacob Henry, as he goes up against his opposite number, Conrad Albert. A Lewiston team only 2 losses on the year, led by their captain, Alex Robert. He's in for the face-off, and he and Boudreau go to work. Blue Devils dressed in the home whites with the blue. Bangor in their road red for the Rams, and an icing starts things off in our 15-minute first period here at the Coliseum. Quite a few fans have made the trip down from Bangor here, but I expect this building's going to be a lot more full for our second game, the EL St. Dom's.
I think you might be right, especially with EL being the number 2 rated team. Kind of a surprise.
They certainly shocked a lot of folks. So this just
Tom Gagne is in the building.
On the face-off, pushed forward by Robert, but unable to get it out. Boudreau tries one from the left point. That one deflected. It'll be carried out from left to right on the breakaway. Robert shooting this one in. Knocked away by LeBlanc. Fired into the right wing corner. And this one deflects behind the net. Played up the far side boards. Carried out by Boudreau, the junior forward. 24 points on the season. Dumps it deep, where Albert will stop it behind the net. Jacob Smith and Conrad Albert were the ones who split time in between the pipes during the regular season. Albert getting the nod here in the first playoff game. Play in front. Oh, what a left pad save made by Jacob Henry as he just turned away that centering pass that somehow slipped through the 2 defensemen. Cowperthwaite sends this one around to the far side boards, and it will elude Owen Cox. Carried up the far side boards from the right wing, shot right on. Albert makes the save against Ben Lane to bring a stoppage with only 57 seconds gone, but chances on both ends.
You know, everybody felt that Fournier would be missed, and he has been, but Jacob Henry has been a capable replacement and has played very well for Bangor.
Derek Fournier, of course, the man who was a finalist for the Travis A. Roy Award last year, and a big part of that team's success as they were in the playoffs before their run was ended by these Blue Devils, as Lewiston was en route to winning their 2nd straight Class A title, and they will look to make it a 3-peat this year as their first playoff game gets underway. Sam Frechette in the offensive zone for the Blue Devils from the left wing. Centering feed broken up. This one's chipped free by Charlie Budd. Only as far as center ice, scampering back in with it, and being upended off the puck is Jaden Wilson, the senior defenseman. Frechette looking to rotate this one on around, looking for Dustin La Rochelle. He steals it down below, but it's poked away, and Ben St. Laurent will shovel it back to the corner for La Rochelle, the senior forward, to go to work. He's upended there and given a little extra whack for his trouble by Zack Murphy as it's tried to be broken out by Jacob Monroe. Gets this one high, knocked down by Willie Blanchett. He's been a big part of this defensive line as a shot's taken and stopped in for Monroe to cover, or excuse me, for Jacob Henry to cover up. We've seen a lot of players have to step up after losing double-digit starters from last year's state championship team for this Blue Devil squad.
Oh, I think they lost. I think we said 12 players off last year's squad. That'll keep you up at night, I think, trying to figure out what you're going to do with that.
Jamie Bello, only 2 losses, though, over the course of the regular season. 2 to teams you may expect. Falmouth getting the better of Lewiston in a regular season meeting on the road, and Chevrolet pulling off a surprise 1-goal victory here on their home ice. The lone loss the Blue Devils suffered in this building. Poked down low from the right corner. A shot redirected a couple of times. Ridgefield was looking for it. Cam Dion had the backhand effort that didn't get all the way through.
I think one of the things that Bangor can't do in this game is just keep dumping out the center ice, because the more you give it to Lewiston, the more that advantage they're going to have.
Ryan Bossy tried to get this one out. It's knocked up the near side boards, and the referee lost an edge in the process. Turned over and ushered back to the point where it will be carried out there, and Dion will dump it deep before peeling off for the line change. Of course, the benches on opposite sides of the ice from each other here at the Androscoggin Bank Coliseum. Gloved down, or at least attempted to, by Jack LeBlond at center. Could only deflect it on for a teammate as the check is put on Reed Higgs, who goes down in front of the Lewiston bench. Puck behind the Blue Devils net. Bossy, one of the captains for this team, plays it back to himself, and he'll stop behind the cage. Bangor Rams peel off. 3 minutes gone in our opening period. Couple of shots for the Blue Devils, but still scoreless as Evan Cox swings around the challenge from Burpee and got it deep into the corner. Burpee's got two aside from him. It's push past LeBlond. Bud trying to start the breakout ahead. Backhands it up, but not out as LeBlond a couple of times reaches behind him and sends the puck back in deep. Rolls to the point. Bossy keeping it alive. Low shot tipped and just wide of the post. Getting a piece of it on the way through. Evan Cox looking for his 11th of the season. Still the Rams cannot get it out. Finally flip the backhand one through. That was played with a high stick by Charlie Budd. So rather than go after it, he'll let the Blue Devils play it and head to the bench for the change. Frechette out of his own zone. Wheeling through center. Across center ice, and that pass for St. Laurent got behind him. It'll bounce in behind the net. He puts a big hit there to lay out his man and force the puck free from behind the net.
Might have been interference.
And we've got a stoppage as that one just did clip the netting on its way up, so they'll retrieve a fresh puck and bring the face-off at the right wing circle. Not a bad start for Bangor here, Coach Wing. They made a couple of good shots.
This is what we thought last time. They didn't have a lot of offense, but they played great defense. They held their own.
Off the draw, this one pushed back to the point. It's carried out, and Bangor on the breakout with Brown. David Brown, their second leading scorer, tried to center one in for Higgs, and the junior forward couldn't catch up to it. Reset to center ice. Cowperthwaite, the alternate captain, dumping it deep. Stop behind the net as the Blue Devils will prepare to break out. Owen Cox to Bossy. Plays up the boards. Frechette trying to send in the direction of St. Laurent. Played past him. Stopped in front of the penalty box doors, and this one's jammed into the offensive zone for Brown to get after. Sophomore forward had it poked away from him. Higgs to the left hash marks. He'll recover, though, as he stops for Ethan Scripture, who went down low. The left defenseman had the puck taken away, and he'll retreat. Cox through center. Backhands through the skates of Cowperthwaite, and Dion flashing in after it as Henry was forced to get a touch, too. Big hit delivered against Hunter Neal, who's sent in towards his bench area. And that stretch pass not going to be icing, as it could have been played by Ethan Scripture.
He was right on it.
Let that one go, and the referee noticing it as he waves his arms away from the goal line. Centering feed, Dion. Stick save made by Henry. He made a point-blank stop, and he got another one. Rebound. Fought it off as well with a blocker. Huge save and a big momentum shifter potentially with a big stop there. In front now, they score on the centering feed. Blue Devils strike first. 5:16 into the first period. Finally, they cash in. Dion getting the best of it. Well, a great opportunity there to make some hay, and after a couple of scores, a couple of shots stopped, they were able to make it happen. Face-off will come at center ice here with Robert. So that's goal number 5 on the season for the senior forward, as this one's played back into the offensive zone. 5:16 the time of the goal.
Boy, they move the puck well, don't they?
It's a Lewiston team that when they get into this offensive zone, they can be havoc to get back out. What Jimmy Bello refers to as the playground. This is where they go to make things happen. On the wraparound to the near side boards. Played through, and Evan Cox just had it roll off his backhand, or he might have had another chance for a shot. Cox twisting it down to the right wing corner. Gets it back. 2-on-1 chance down low. Looked to pull the trigger. It was broken up. Still not cleared. Robert from the high slot. Left wing feeds down low. Cox wide open. Blocker save. Henry after a beautiful tic-tac-toe setup. The Blue Devils couldn't quite find their second straight. Henry with some phenomenal saves to keep his team in it.
Incredible.
Still in the offensive zone for Lewiston from the left wing boards to a side scrum. Puck chipped free out to center, and the puck comes loose for Ben Lane. The forward able to poke it across the blue line into Lewiston territory, but it goes no further. Boudreau finds it at center. He's got Brown on the right wing side. He pulls the trigger. Shot deflected just past the far post. Boudreau hustling to it on the near side boards. Back to the point. Scripture had it roll past him, but we've got a penalty for tripping upcoming against Ben St. Laurent, and the Blue Devils will be shorthanded. Excellent chance coming up for the Bangor Rams to try and tie things at 1. Face-off will come in the offensive zone for Bangor. Only one shot they've had on goal. They've had a couple of scoring chances in this game, but after some great saves on the other end from junior goaltender Jacob Henry, now this would be a chance to repay his hard work if they can find a goal, but they'll have to start going all the way down to their own end after that clear from the Blue Devils. Penalty was against Dustin La Rochelle as it was scored, so not St. Laurent who went to the box for the tripping minor.
Yeah, they need to keep control of the puck, and they need to take their time, be patient.
That might help things as Owen Cox fanned on a clearing opportunity, but helped out by Bossy, who gets it as far as Boudreau at center. He quarterbacks the power play and now lugs it across the blue line. Fake the drop pass, skates around Frechette to the right wing corner. Stops there behind the net, using his sizable frame to hold off Owen Cox, but he'll need someone to come and help him out. It's Reed Higgs who does, but he loses out on body position, and Frechette going the other way. He's got a man with him, driving and fires. Too high, got the glass, and this will wrist all the way around back to center. Carried on by Higgs. He's got Boudreau to his left, knocking it through his skates. Oh, and he gets hit hard by Frechette. Penalty upcoming. Looked like a just good, strong hit, but the referee has the arm raised, and there's the control. It'll be 5-on-3 for 57 seconds. And Jamie Bello wants an explanation on the Lewiston bench.
I think they thought that it maybe was I think that he thought it was elbow. He said it was an elbow. I thought it was a shoulder, but
it's a penalty either way here as they get things set up.
And they will take it. Oh, the way around and out.
Sent all the way down for Henry to have to get to here, and he'll see what he can do. Stopping it there for Bud. He comes the other way, carried through center ice across the red line. He'll chip this one deep. Bounces past the goal line, and it's hammered at there by Wilson. Up to the right point and out, and it's recovered there by Jacob Monroe. He'll wrist this one in on target. Stick save to the glass by Albert. Sent over to the far side boards. Bud from the right point. Sends it across. One-time blast, just missing wide. This one goes up and to the right point where it's knocked past Monroe, and it'll have to be recovered at center ice by Ben Lane. Lane, the captain, wheels through center. Fires it in softly as only 6 seconds remain in the first penalty against Dustin La Rochelle. This one cleared all the way down, and Henry will stop it behind the net. But we are now 1 minute away from being back to full strength. 1-0 lead for the Lewiston Blue Devils here against the Bangor Rams. Class A North regional semifinal action in boys hockey.
Not the way you'd want
the blue line.
Not the way you'd want your power play to go when you've got 5-on-3 for a bit.
Just too many clears by the Lewiston Blue Devils, and the puck deflected out of play. So we've got the face-off coming at the left wing circle in the offensive zone for Bangor. 1-0 lead thanks to that goal from Cam Dion, his 5th of the season after a couple of stupendous saves by Jacob Henry.
Henry's kept them. This could be 4 or 5-0. He really has been spectacular.
Cal Perthwaite goes across, shot on right pad save. Conrad Albert got in the way to kick that one to the left wing corner boards. Nick Boudreau, leading scorer for this team, 15 goals, but he's been held in relative check tonight as it's sent down the ice with just 30 seconds remaining in the 5-on-4 time. Picked up from behind the net. It'll be carried on. Chance to get across the blue line and try to dump this one in deep. Puck deflected, falls for a shot right on, and Boudreau was stoned by the blocker. Rebound to Higgs, and it was sent wide.
First really good shot opportunities for Bangor.
Josh Sherwood with a nice rush to get that one into the zone as he heads to the bench. Boudreau puts it across. This one bounces onto the forehand of Brown. Shot it across, deflected in on our own goal as Owen Cox got the leg pads closed, but he needed the leg pads of Conrad Albert to help him out as he accidentally put that one on target for the Bangor Rams. Played around to Alex Robert. The captain just sweeps it through to center. 5 minutes remaining in the first period. Arrowed in on goal, and another stick save picked up by Albert. So the shots are showing as even at 6-6, but really the scoring chances have all been for the Blue Devils. Quality over quantity for them. They've looked a threat to score on all 6 of the shots they've created. In behind the net, carried out by Charlie Budd for Bangor from his own zone. Pass up the right wing side. Hunter Neal got it across. Lane trying to kick it free in the slot, just knocked away from him by Jack LeBlond, and it'll be sent clear by Bossy. Poked at by Robert, only got it as far as the blue line for Bangor. He's heading to the bench for a change, while on the other side, Evan Cox gets it over into the offensive zone for Lewiston. Down the right wing side into the corner, Budd sweeps this one around, over to the far side. Hustling to it for a turnaround shot, stick save as Gunnar Wade let fly. Backhand didn't clear the zone on that clear attempt, as Burpee went to try and find a hit at center ice, and now has to get back to help out his team on the breakaway. Breakout, I should say, rather, as Jacob Munro doing that, wheeling through center. Pokes it free, hammered into the offensive end by Neal. And to that right wing corner, Higgs gets a touch on it to at least stop it there. 1v4 while the Rams make a change behind him. But good work on the forecheck there to at least force them to go back with Jacob Story.
Yeah, Bangor's just off a little bit.
Shot there,
Outside.
dump into the zone, hit Boudreau square in the mask, and he comes across with a little, hey, what was that for?
Let me get out of there, please.
Ethan Scripture, the man trying to dump in, so that was offside after the deflection, and we'll have the face-off just outside the blue line. 3:42 remaining. Face-off one to the right wing. David Brown has it there, jammed away from him, and back to center by Bossy. Rifled into the zone. Boudreau heads in on the forecheck. Owen Cox will send back towards his own goal line. Bossy looking to break it out. Nice pass for Dion. He stopped it, couldn't drag it with him. Able to at least poke it on, and Gunnar Wade will race to it up the right wing side. Rich Field into the corner. Holding off from the challenge from Higgs. Played around behind. Dion trying to center in front. Field found it. Shot jammed wide as Scripture got the legs in the way. Centering feed was found by Higgs. Flips this one ahead. Looking to find Brown. He could only deflect it, with Bossy shutting down every attack that's come anywhere near him over the blue line so far, Coach. He has been spectacular.
He really has been really one of their leaders. You know, everybody talks about the offense, but he's really the guy that makes this whole thing go.
He's been huge over the last couple of seasons for this Blue Devils team. Pass to center only got as far as Wilson. Shot back in deep behind the net. Dustin LaRochelle, who picked up the first of those 2 straight penalties for the Blue Devils, races into the corner, trying to lift a stick and come free with it. St. Laurent able to poke it behind the net. Nick Cowperthwaite sends it up the right wing boards. Couldn't get it all the way out as Wilson stopped it. Frechette lets it roll behind him. St. Laurent centering feed, blocked, came back to the point. Blanchett will just dump this one cross corner where St. Laurent finds it off the boards. Run into by Sherwood. Out to center, poked on, and Budd pushing it over to the left wing side. He will backhand this one in deep. Wilson sweeps around to the far side. Frechette trying to get it up and out, could not. Puck came to the slot area, and Boudreau unable to pull a trigger as La Rochelle lost his stick trying to tie up the forward for the Rams. Boudreau at center, angles off the left wing boards. Nice move by Wilson to spin away from pressure. Starts the breakout. Boudreau stopped it. Lost the puck. Brown picks it up high slot. Drives in for a backhand shot. Save made. Tried to center it again. But as he was being pinwheeled to the ice, puck rolled under his stick. Shot from the point. Rebound. Backhand shot stopped by Albert's left pad as he stayed right with it. Bangor with a couple of good chances,
nice.
though.
Couple good chances, and they've stemmed the tide a little bit as far as the possession in the offensive zone.
Final 90 seconds ticking off here. Puck out to center, redirected in by Burpee. Got past Higgs, he didn't realize it was there. Robert swings in from the right wing circle, drives behind the goal line, wraps around, centering feed, looking for Cox. Blocked off, and we've got a penalty upcoming for the hit finished on Robert in the corner. It's going to be a roughing minor, and with 1:10 remaining in the first period, Blue Devils will have a chance to do something with it.
This would be the one thing that we've always talked about. You cannot do with Lewiston. You cannot go in the penalty box because their vaunted power play is so good. It just makes it really, really difficult to do anything with it.
Sophomore Zack Murphy, the man who picked up the penalty, he's the one that had a problem with being able to kind of run around outside the zone and had an issue with going through and popping the players outside of the zone for a defenseman. This one sent in, and it will be covered up by Henry on the edge of the crease for the stoppage with 1:01 remaining.
Like we've said, beating a dead horse, Henry's kept them in this game.
Back to the point here. Set up by Cox. Sent across to the near side, Bossy. Sent down low to the corner, Robert. Back to the point for Bossy here from the right side. He fires, got through the crease and missed everybody. From the left side, back for Robert. His shot saved and the rebound stopped by the left pad as Dustin La Rochelle couldn't get it to go. Huge save there with 25 seconds left. Bossy's effort deflects and flutters just out of play.
Boy, Jacob Henry, he has been immense.
So the faceoff's going to come from the right wing circle here with Evan Cox. Tied up on the draw, sent down low to the corner here. Centering back for Cox, his shot steered aside, sent in front, and Higgs will have to carry this one out. And that's going to do it for our first period. 1-0 lead for the Lewiston Blue Devils after 15 minutes, but they'll still have 51 seconds of power play time to work with. Excellent job in that first period from Jacob Henry. We will break this one down for you when we return, but we'll take a timeout and a chance for both these teams to catch their breath before they'll return for second period action back here in 12 minutes time. Back in 4 minutes to break down the first period for you. You're watching coverage and listening to it as well for the Class A North Regional Semifinal between Lewiston and Bangor here on MBR.org and 105.5 Maine's Big Z.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Winter People Athletics creates custom athletic apparel, including team uniforms and spirit wear. They support team sports programs by offering a variety of clothing and other merchandise which can be personalized with team logos, player numbers and names, and various other options. They can also provide innovative custom screen printing and embroidered apparel to create fun and engaging fan and booster items to sell for your team fundraising efforts. Call Steve Haynes, athletic apparel consultant, at 207-869-6019 or online at winterpeople.com. For 37 years, the Bowles family has been selling Napa Auto Parts in Hancock County, and every February they make the trip to Bangor, Portland, and Augusta to cheer on the local basketball teams. And with their new Napa Auto Parts stores in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford, they have some new teams to cheer for. Like the kids out on the court, the Bowles family understands that doing business takes teamwork and dedication. Whether you're getting a belt for your sled, running a garage, or keeping your car and truck in tip-top shape, they're here to help. Visit your locally owned Napa Auto Parts in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford today.
Look, I get it. We all got snowed in last week. You're just now getting shoveled out. And when somebody mentions something to you about summer camps, your only thought is, can I go to it right now so that I don't have to deal with the snow anymore? Totally get that. However, this February vacation week, if you're home with your kids, there is one thing that you're going to remember. If you don't have something for your kids to do, you're going to be in for a long summer. Registration is now open for University of Southern Maine's summer camps. They've got basketball, they've got soccer, they've got ice hockey, and they have a ton more. I haven't even scratched the surface on this. Find the registration links now. Go to usm.maine.edu. That's usm.maine.edu and search summer camps, or find the links right now at mbr.org. And maybe get them in shape for some of these summer camps by letting them shovel off the roof or something like that. Or the deck. Or the car. Or maybe the big wheel. Either way. University of Southern Maine summer camps, where kids should spend the summer.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Full Court Press is on your team. Full Court Press is more than just a copy shop. Some of their print services include color copies, black and white copies, posters, bindings, calendars, cards, business cards, and every door direct mail. They're located at 855 Main Street in Westbrook. Call them today at 207-464-0002 or request an estimate, place an order, and much more on their website at fullcourtpress.biz. That's fullcourtpress.biz. When you need a copy shop to bring the heat, it's time to hire Full Court Press.
Back inside the Androscoggin Bank Coliseum, Caleb Lamb alongside the coach Dave Wing as we are in our first period intermission. Our Class A North Regional Semifinal, game 1 of 2 for a doubleheader tonight here on 105.5 Maine's Big Z, and of course on MBR.org, where you can find live video, and also on Facebook as well through the MBR channel. Dave, we've seen a good contest so far. Only one goal scored in it, coming from perhaps an unlikely source. Senior Cam Dion with his 5th of the season, but having to score after a couple of phenomenal saves by Jacob Henry, and that has been the difference so far. That, and really the defense of this Blue Devils team, Ryan Bossy, an excellent job, especially helping kill off a 5-on-3 power play.
Well, you made mention of it. The shots they say on the board are 9-8 in favor of Lewiston, but we're talking quality versus quantity. The Bangor shots, only one really was a tester, and on the other side of it, Lewiston's had pretty much all testers. Jacob Henry's had to stand on his head to keep this this game 1-0, and kind of what we expected. You know, we said in the pregame that Bangor can't just keep popping the puck out to center ice, because Lewiston's going to come in full force, and eventually you're going to make a mistake. They haven't your end enough. Eventually, that little playground that Jamie Bello talks about is going to happen. And so I think that'll be one of the things that Bangor will have to do this period, is they've got to give Henry more support, and they need to get the puck down on the other end and keep it down there. Now, that's easy for me to say, much more difficult to do. And that will be their challenge this period, and not get worn down.
going to have to try and give some offensive support at the very least, Henry, because as we've seen pretty much what feels like the last 2 years, Lewiston sometimes runs into a hot goaltender and the offense doesn't click for quite as many goals as they're used to scoring. This team's still averaging 5 goals per game coming into this season, but it's that lack of offensive support on the other end that has mostly doomed teams to end up falling to this Lewiston Blue Devils squad.
Yeah, you can't have the puck in your defensive zone the whole game because, as we see in any hockey game, eventually somebody's going to tip one, deflect one, off a skate, something, and you got a Lewiston guy standing right in front of the net ready to just pop it in, which is exactly what happened in spite of Henry in his heroics. So it'll be interesting. I think, Lewiston is going to plan on doing what they always do. I think they haven't been quite as sharp tonight as we've seen them in the past. Quite a few of their passes have been somewhat errant. Now, what that means, it's hard to say. Maybe Bangor playing a little better than Lewiston expected. It may be Lewiston just not quite as sharp as we've seen them. And we've already said that they're not the juggernaut that they were a year ago.
This definitely feels like a tournament that is a lot more open this year,
yes,
I'd say, than it's felt in years past.
Although in the South today, my understanding is that Biddeford beat Falmouth, which is, if Lewiston's looking ahead at all, which I'm sure they're not, they're loving that because they've had their hands full with Falmouth. Although Biddeford's a quality team also. So
a lot of seniors on that squad.
Yeah, you just never know. That's why they play the tournament games. I did the basketball game this afternoon. Vinalhaven came in 33 straight wins. Their girls, little small. God, I can't remember who they played now. I'm drawing a blank. But clearly the expectation was that they're just going to roll, no problem. And that wasn't what happened at all. They got beat by double digits, and it really wasn't even that close. In the fourth quarter, they just got run out of the building, and it's sad to see because they've never won a state championship, but like I said, that's why they play the games.
Well, we will find out how this one's going to turn out because it's still very much sitting on a knife edge. Only a 1-goal contest, but some power play time for the Blue Devils when we return. Back with second period start of action. You're listening to it on 105.5 Maine's Big Z.
For 37 years, the Bowles family has been selling Napa Auto Parts in Hancock County, and every February they make the trip to Bangor, Portland, and Augusta to cheer on the local basketball teams. And with their new Napa Auto Parts stores in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford, they have some new teams to cheer for. Like the kids out on the court, the Bowles family understands that doing business takes teamwork and dedication. Whether you're getting a belt for your sled, running a garage, or keeping your car and truck in tip-top shape, they're here to help. Visit your locally owned Napa Auto Parts in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford today.
From the front office staff to the medical technicians and the doctors, we're all playing on the same team. Discover Spectrum Healthcare Partners and the power of integrated specialty care.
Winter People Athletics creates custom athletic apparel, including team uniforms and spirit wear. They support team sports programs by offering a variety of clothing and other merchandise which can be personalized with team logos, player numbers and names, and various other options. They can also provide innovative custom screen printing and embroidered apparel to create fun and engaging fan and booster items to sell for your team fundraising efforts. Call Steve Haynes, Athletic Apparel Consultant, at 207-869-6019 or online at winterpeople.com.
Back at the Androscoggin Bank Coliseum alongside Dave Wing, I'm Caleb Lamb. Second period set to get underway between the Bangor Rams and the Lewiston Blue Devils. Lewiston, the number 1 seed out of Class A North in boys ice hockey. Bangor, the number 4 seed. These two teams saw each other last year and saw each other earlier this regular season. Bangor came up empty in games against the Blue Devils in the regular season, but playoffs have a habit of being a little bit different. We've still got some power play time to go. 51 seconds on the clock with 5 on 4 for the Blue Devils as we get back underway. Lewiston in the white, Bangor in the red as we restart. Alex Robert, the captain for the Blue Devils, will wheel this one out of his own end and across the blue line down the left wing side to begin period number 2. He's going to cut right in, put on a low shot, stick save made, it was loose. Robert fires again, stopped again, and this one cleared. And Henry called into action 15 seconds into the second period. He's already had to make 2 big saves.
2 big saves, and then Bossy with a beautiful pass to set up a great shot.
Keeps this one a 1-0 lead. Only 30 seconds gone, and the power play time down to 10 seconds now as we come across in over the blue line. Frechette looking to fire this one from the goal line. Scores! Snuck through the left pad somehow, and it's a power play goal. 47 seconds into period number 2. That's the one Henry's going to want back. It's a 2-0 lead for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, an almost impossible angle. He was almost down to the goal line and shot it from the right circle, and boom, suddenly it tickled the twine. Not exactly sure how it got through there, but I'm sure he'll take it.
Looks like it might have just had a little bit of daylight to get underneath the pad at that near post. And for Henry, he definitely got a piece of it as that puck was fluttering on edge as it bounced across the goal line, but he didn't get enough to keep it out. And a nice job there from Frechette, who picks up his 12th of the season. So a power play goal and a big one at that to double the advantage just 47 seconds in.
Yeah, not a good way to start this period for the Rams.
Shot into the offensive zone once again for the Blue Devils, and around behind the net, Dion got a piece of that one to turn it in front. Played up and out of the zone, Brown hustling to it. He's turned away at the blue line as back to cover for Bossy was his defensive partner, Owen Cox. Behind his own net, trying to start this one ahead. Pushed up to the red line and fired in deep from Zack Murphy. This one will wrist all the way around to the far corner where Charlie Budd gets to it from the left wing side. He's pushed around there. Sherwood at the hash marks. Pops one into the air against Ryan Bossy, the captain, who's double teamed and the puck forced free. Sherwood backhands one in front, shot on, and it couldn't be turned into the goal line by Ben Lane. Don't think he got all of that. Might have had his stick checked in the process. Either way, Conrad Albert didn't have to make a stop. Carried out and across the blue line. LeBlanc from the left wing side looking to fire. Soft shot as he was thinking like he was going to snap one high. Instead put one towards the low left pad. And this one had to be cleared by Bangor all the way down so they can get a line change. Long pass ahead, angled by Frechette into the offensive zone, and he's after Ethan Scripture to give him some problems. Got a piece of the clearing effort. Poked the puck free to the high slot. La Rochelle got to it. Knocks it away from Reed Higgs to keep it in the offensive zone. Scripture bangs it around the other side to try that luck. Ben St. Laurent got the skates to it, couldn't keep it in. Boudreau, nice pass. He's got Higgs in behind for a breakaway. Coming in, scores!
Wow, what a shot.
Reed Higgs with a much-needed goal for the Bangor Rams, and they are down by 1. Coming with 2:47 played in the second period.
Beautiful pass from the defensive zone all the way through center ice and right tape to tape and sent him in all alone, and he made no mistake.
Put it just past the left pad of Conrad Albert as he was cutting towards his right, and he put the shot back against the green. And Reed Higgs, 10th of the season for the junior forward. That's got the Bangor visiting fans fired up.
Uh-oh.
And coming in the other side, Evan Cox comes in. His shot blocked by the left pad, but a penalty coming up with 12:02. And it was David Brown who fired that pass ahead, so he'll pick up credit for the assist on the tally, and a nice job from him quickly getting that puck up ice. Nice save by Henry on the other end off the drop of the puck, but Cowperthwaite had to pick up the penalty in the process with the hook from behind. And
this is what we said they can't do.
Can't go to the box.
Do it. They are too good offensively to do this.
Lewiston 1-for-1 with the man advantage, scoring that goal early in this second period. A power play tally from Frechette with just 10 seconds left in that time. Back to the point.
Clearing pass hit the official. That was bad luck.
Bossy from the right point takes it back from Alex Robert. He'll send it to him from the right wing hash mark. Those two just playing pass. Bossy now fires low. That one deflected by La Rochelle, fluttered it wide. Passes for Frechette. Threw one towards the side of the net. Didn't get all the way through. Tried to center one again, and it's blocked back to the point for Bossy. Bossy lost an edge as he got the pass away. Here comes Frechette. Pass broken up. Bossy fired one that's just tipped away. Cox back to the point. High slot area. Dekes in to the forehand. Shot blocked, and it's cleared up but not out. Bossy fires and scores.
I didn't see if it was tipped or not. The problem there was that the Bangor players thought the puck was going to clear the zone, and two guys broke out like they were going to break away or something, and boy, it left it 5-on-3 in the zone. And the result is a goal.
Bossy with that goal from the point. Didn't look like it changed directions. He just beat the goaltender on the stick side. Ryan Bossy, who doesn't score much, but the senior captain, 4th of the year, and a good time to get it on the power play.
Probably could score more if he wanted to, but
restores that cushion to make it a 3-1 lead. 2 goals to the good for the Blue Devils, and that will take some of that momentum away from the Rams. But Bangor coming right back into the offensive zone off the draw. Boudreau fires one that had to be angled off the pad by Albert. Sent back in behind the net. Centering looking for Brown. Jammed away. Recovered and kept in at the blue line. And it looks like they are going to go ahead and give credit on that one to La Rochelle for a tip-in on Bossy on the power play. So it'll be Bossy's assist, as that one evidently did take a slide touch on the way through past Henry.
Nice save by Smith.
Albert watches this one behind the net. Bossy.
It's too bad those little mistakes for Bangor because they haven't played that badly.
Played up and down behind the Bangor net, where the Rams will go to work on the breakout after the Lewiston change. 5 minutes gone here. Interesting that the goals have pretty much come in minute increments. 47 seconds in, then 2 minutes later, Higgs scored, and then a minute after that, the Blue Devils on the board themselves for a second power play goal. Centering feed, Robert had a shot from in close, smothered by Henry, and he will hang on.
I think it kind of caught him by surprise, and I think he kind of hit on the shaft as opposed to where he wanted it on the meat. So nice save again by Henry.
Puck ended up fluttering up to him there and didn't quite go all the way for a nice hard shot on target, but all sometimes you have to do is make contact with those chances in front, and he can slip it past a crease in the goaltender. Cleared off the glass all the way down to the Lewiston end. Owen Cox from his own side starts the pass ahead for Alex Robert. Across the blue line, he stops at the right point. Looking to pull the trigger. Played it across for Willie Blanchett. Into the corner. Big hit there. It's in behind for Evan Cox. Cox wrapping it around. Plays back to the point. Blanchett fires this one down low to the corner. Pass Blanchett, and this one will go all the way down, and Albert will stop it in front of his own crease.
Bangor getting a partial change.
Frechette looking across the red line as he comes in, winds and blasts one too high, and that one got the glass and angles all the way out to Ben Lane, who lost an edge going across center. Tripped on the red paint as he knocks it over for his line mate Alex Inman to send in deep to a side scrum. Trying to dig that one out of the corner, and getting to it was Ben Brook. He's able to keep in on the far side.
I got to tell you, Bangor's had plenty of fight. They're not giving in.
Hunter Neal sending this one around, back to the point. Ben Brook, low shot, didn't get through. Inman turnaround drive. Stick save made by Albert. Robert from behind the net. Lofts one clear. Stopped and knocked down nicely by Burpee. Long pass did get through, and no icing as it took a slight touch on the way by Hunter Neal, who skates to the bench for the change. Long pass will end up off the post. Did not hit the goaltender, so icing with 8:21 remaining in this second period. 3-1 lead for the Lewiston Blue Devils, out shooting the Bangor Rams 15-12.
I think the rule used to be, remember, if the blue was out here, if it went through that blue, even on the edge, it was not icing. They changed that.
Boudreau for the face-off here, knocked it off the linesman, and this one ends up bouncing behind the Lewiston net where Bossy starts it ahead. Able to get around that check from Boudreau and fire this one deep, wraps around to the left wing corner. Gunnar Wade there.
Probably should have been an icing.
Knocked by Wilson. Oh, and Cam Dion was looking to put it back to the left wing corner. Missed it. Stretch pass. Has Brown in behind. Breakaway. Save. Rebound. Just got deflected wide. Brown centers it through everyone in the slot, and it will end up ricocheting back to center ice. David Brown nearly put one in. Second breakaway that the Bangor Rams have gotten. This time, though, they cannot capitalize. Across it comes Boudreau off the boards. Fires it. Save out of play. Oh, no, sorry, it does stay in play high off the glass from Albert, and it's going to lead to a 3-on-2 breakout. Gunnar Wade into the offensive zone, lost the puck, and he'll have to send it around behind the net. Dion there, looking to center, gets around one, finds Ridgefield, swung and missed on the one-timer. Poked up, not out of the zone. Bossy, blocker save on that wrist shot from distance, as that time Henry found it all the way through traffic. On the breakout up the near side boards. Devo.
Looks to me like that's not a bad strategy for Bangor. That stretch pass, Lewiston hasn't been aware of it at all. 2 for 2, missed the goal, but.
Couple of times that they've been able to find those Blue Devils players pinching too high up, and the defense been very engaged with the offense as well. So if you can get that player, and it doesn't hurt you too much defensively by having him out towards the opposite blue line, you can get some chances from him.
It's a risk against this team because they're so good offensively.
Bud got a touch on this one to keep it back to the point where it's dumped by Cowperthwaite. Shot right on. Albert pins it down and hangs on with 6:37 to go in the second period. Conrad Albert, the senior goaltender, has won the starting job, played the majority of the games in the regular season, and trying to help backstop this Lewiston team to another state title game. The rare three-peat that they could pull off. But there's still a couple of more wins that need to happen. They will play the winner of St. Dom's and EL, two teams that they've beaten in the regular season meetings. But like we talked about at the start of this broadcast, playoffs are where things tend to change. Dump deep. Albert behind the net. We'll leave it there where it's shot up and around from Jacob Story. Back to the point. Frechette. Puck poked free. He'll get to it in front of the penalty box doors. Has to stop and go back to his own blue line with it. We've played 9 minutes here in the second period. Frechette cutting in. Shot right on. Henry the save, and he has to pull it back a couple of times. Couldn't get it covered, though, and this one's cleared up and out. Brown after it. He's going to get there. He's got Story beat. Shoots one. Might have been deflected over to the glass, but that one was going high, and Albert fighting it off. Not quite a breakaway there, as Brown had a tight angle, but still a very good scoring chance. One that the Rams just could not quite capitalize on. And the puck stolen away in behind the Bangor net. Evan Cox trying to poke it in front for Jack LeBlanc. Knocked away off the stick of Henry. Pass down low to the corner, angled off the skates of Zack Murphy. Stolen away by Higgs, pokes it to himself. He's got a man ahead. It was Hunter Neal, but he couldn't get it to him before he was stripped of possession from behind. LeBlanc, shot, blocked. Boudreau angles one clear. That will have enough on it to get to icing with 5:13 to go in the second period.
You know, I still am amazed. In this rink, you and I did that game. Remember, it hit right in the corner, came right flat out, and it was not icing. That was amazing.
The old Colisee still has some wrinkles to it. Much more active boards, a little more spring in them than a lot of places are used to. And we've seen that confuse what seems like teams that are not Lewiston or Scarborough, the two teams that play here, on a pretty regular basis, as the puck sent clear to center ice here from the Bangor Rams. Rams having already played in this building once this year, ready for it, having had that experience last year with a lot of the same team in place. As the puck knocked free at the blue line. Trying to get this one up and out, they do so. LeBlanc putting it across. Mathon sending it up for Robert, the captain, run off the puck.
Nice defensive play.
Sent long, but this one's going to be icing again as it crosses the goal line with 4:38 to go in the second period. So Bangor, they've had a couple of chances on those long passes, the stretch passes ahead, but if they're kind of reverting to that too often, I'd say, and having to do that, it's going to end up with a lot of icings like this, and it's going to tire this team out.
Well, and it's also going to get you 5-on-4 down the other end.
Have to be careful with the plays. You want to try and build on your breakout as much as you can. Get the puck in deep from the blue line when you're dumping it in, that kind of thing. Mathon from center, having that puck redirect in from Sherwood. Played across for Ridgefield, lost it behind. Gunnar Wade helps him out and fires one just off the bottom of the glove of Henry. Dion, open to the scoring in this game today. Puck poked free, diving onto his stomach. Sherwood clears this one out. It's shot in from center, knuckled just wide, came actively out in front off the boards, and Bud just couldn't quite get there to fire one on target. Puck back to the point. Boudreau turns and fires one. Blocker save is in between the pads, and Albert will just cover up with 4:01 to go.
I remember some when Bangor really was first getting started, some 20-0, and so this is dramatically different games that we're seeing here today.
Bangor Rams team that in the north has been a little more overshadowed than some of their other programs, basketball, football, soccer, the likes of those. But when you've got some of the most established hockey teams in state history in your division, always going to be tough. Looking to make a little bit of history themselves if they can pull off the win here. But they're 2 goals down in the offensive zone, though. Boudreau had it get between his skates. Back to the point. Shot angled just wide of the net. Laurent pokes it free. All the way down it goes, where it'll be skated on to by Monroe. Takes it around behind. Starts it for Boudreau. Got it high off the glass, angling past Ryan Bossy into his own zone. And the Lewiston defender will shuffle it across. Wilson passes back for him. Bossy, calm as you like. Shuffles that one for Frechette. Just underneath the scoreboard at center on that high dump out. And a big hit labeled for a penalty. And who else but Zack Murphy picks it up. He's got to be careful on those. Second time he's going to the box. He doesn't like the call, but a pretty easy one to make after he took the 3 extra strides to get there.
Yeah, I think it was how far away it came from. The hit itself wasn't great, but it was the strides.
Trying to finish off the hits is when you get into trouble. You want to play physical on the Lewiston Blue Devils, but if you're doing it when you're going out of your way to make a non-hockey play to do so, so to speak, where you're having to take those extra strides to hunt them down or you're out of position to try and make the hits, doesn't help your cause. Second time Burpee's been in the penalty box. Lewiston has scored on both their power plays, and they start with a shot shrugged off the left shoulder of Henry. Back to the point for Bossy. Tried to fire a shot in deep. It was partially blocked. Bud leaves it for Boudreau, who gets this one clear via the stick of Bossy. And this one comes into the corner from the goal line. A little bit of trouble there for Ben Lane, one of the captains, to try and do something with it. And it's cleared ahead for Alex Robert. Up the right wing he goes. Carries in. Offside is the whistle. Jack LeBlond on the left wing looked to have been too early coming across. Stoppage with 2:39 to go. 32 seconds gone in the minor penalty to Burpee. They'll make one change as Evan Cox will come off. Sam Frechette on to replace him. Face off up the right wing boards. Frechette able to lug that one across. LeBlond gets to it, tried to drop it to him. Sherwood couldn't get it clear. Robert puts it across. Wilson fires. Glove save and held.
Nice save by Henry again. Down low to the glove side. Picked it right out of the air.
Henry's had to make a couple of those today as we've got the face-off coming from the left wing circle this time around. Robert tied up on the draw. He'll get some help from La Rochelle, who taps it back to Owen Cox from straightaway, fires the snapshot, save, or actually didn't get all the way through. La Rochelle couldn't find it on the rebound to shovel it from the sharper angle. Step kept in the zone. Back to the left point it goes. Wilson. Robert. Wilson straight away. Fires. Pad stop. That one might have been redirected by La Rochelle, who got credit for the last power play goal, tipping the drive from Bossy. This one cleared all the way down. Sherwood's got some speed. Nearly caught Owen Cox out. Reed Higgs able to send it in deep. 40 seconds remaining in the power play time with just under 2 minutes remaining here in the period. 3-1 lead for the Blue Devils. Bangor has scored once in the frame. Blue Devils have struck twice. Frechette tried to get that one clear. Higgs knocked it down in the neutral zone and dumps it in. Albert leaves it for Owen Cox. The sophomore defenseman, younger brother of Evan, will start this one ahead through Wilson. Robert up the right wing side. Captain has Brown with him. Tried to lower the shoulder into the Lewiston Blue Devil captain. Did not work. He lugs it around. Looking back to the point. Bossy wants it. Robert will swing it to him. Cross ice feed and the room for Frechette. He'll go back to Robert. High slot. Shoots. Blocker save. Henry just got enough to send it out of play. Big save.
You know, that pass from Bossy all the way across the Frechette, if it's stuck on his stick, it's an easy goal. Beautiful pass, but it kind of wobbled off his stick and nothing he could do with that.
Had a nice job to reset that one up top for Robert, and the power play had expired just after that save out of play. So minute 11 remaining in period number 2. Bangor with the last change. They make it here. Puck still in the offensive zone for the Blue Devils. Bossy one-time slap shot redirected to the corner. Field trying to skate away with it. Burpee will play this one ahead. Lane flips it forward. Bud trying to get to it. Gunnar Wade. Burpee. Angled out to neutral ice. Backhanded in on target, and Albert will just shuffle it there for Bossy, who rims it around. Dion couldn't get it out. Cowperth-Wade. His shot redirected wide of the net by Lane. Boudreau from the left wing side. Played to the corner. Bud doing a nice job to hang on to it. Played in front. Boudreau had it just played past the edge of his forehand. Bud keeping in. Dumps to the far side corner. There's Reed Higgs for it. He plays it around behind. Bangor pressing for at least one more with 24 seconds left in the period. Burpee sends it deep. There was no pressure behind the net, though, so Bossy risks it out. This one got all the way past everyone, and it was icing with 14 seconds to go. Make it 12.5 as the clock coasts to a stop.
Good attack by Bangor. A little sustained. Didn't get any great shots, but they kept it in there, and they moved it around, made Lewiston work.
Face-off will come from the right wing side. Boudreau in for the draw against Robert. Off the face-off, Cox wins it, swings it around. Looking for Evan Cox, who's hit hard into the Bangor bench, but it's picked up by LeBlond one-on-one. Lost it, chips the forehand, got past Robert, and that's going to do it for the period. Nearly a good scoring chance for Lewiston at the end, but they capitalize on 2 power plays and have a 3-1 cushion going into the third period as they'll look to advance to the regional final in Class A North. Good period for both teams. Bangor getting on the board, but giving up 2 more goals, meaning they still have a tall task ahead of them.
Yeah, I think to come from behind against Lewiston is always a task, always has been. The difference this year is they don't score quite as much as they used to. The key for Bangor will be to come out this next period and continue to play like they did and not get themselves down by a couple more goals with foolish penalties or something like that, because you just can't give Lewiston those kind of opportunities.
So we will head to the intermission and be back in about 4 minutes time to break down that second period of play for you. Interesting game with a goal scored by Bangor on the breakaway, but 2 power play goals from Lewiston have them in front 3-1 after 2. You're watching it on MBR.org and listening to coverage of the Class A Boys North Regional Semifinal between Lewiston and Bangor on 105.5 Maine's Big Z.
From the front office staff to the medical technicians and the doctors, we're all playing on the same team. Discover Spectrum Healthcare Partners and the power of integrated specialty care.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations, or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Full Court Press is on your team. Full Court Press is more than just a copy shop. Some of their print services include color copies, black and white copies, posters, bindings, calendars, cards, business cards, and every door direct mail. They're located at 855 Main Street in Westbrook. Call them today at 207-464-0002 or request an estimate, place an order, and much more on their website at fullcourtpress.biz. That's fullcourtpress.biz. When you need a copy shop to bring the heat, it's time to hire Full Court Press.
Look, I get it. We all got snowed in last week. You're just now getting shoveled out. And when somebody mentions something to you about summer camps, your only thought is, can I go to it right now so that I don't have to deal with the snow anymore? Totally get that. However, this February vacation week, if you're home with your kids, there is one thing that you're going to remember. If you don't have something for your kids to do, you're going to be in for a long summer. Registration is now open for University of Southern Maine's summer camps. They've got basketball, they've got soccer, they've got ice hockey, and they have a ton more. I haven't even scratched the surface on this. Find the registration links now. Go to usm.maine.edu. That's usm.maine.edu and search summer camps, or find the links right now at mbr.org. And maybe get them in shape for some of these summer camps by letting them shovel off the roof or something like that. Or the deck. Or the car. Or maybe the big wheel. Either way. University of Southern Maine summer camps, where kids should spend the summer.
Back inside the Androscoggin Bank Coliseum alongside Dave Wing, I'm Caleb Lamb. 2 periods down, 15 minutes still to go in our Class A North Boys Regional Hockey Semifinal. It's the #1 seed Lewiston Blue Devils, the 2-time reigning state champs, with a 3-1 lead over the Bangor Rams, the #4 seed in the tournament this year. Dave, we saw Bangor get on the board to tie or to pull themselves within 1 goal after a slow start to the period for them. They gave up a goal 47 seconds in on a power play from Sam Frechette, and then Bossy having the wrist shot from the point tipped in by Dustin La Rochelle. That's the 2 tallies from Lewiston. So goals for them from Dion, Frechette, and La Rochelle have them in front 3-1, but Bangor's still hanging around.
Bangor's playing tough. I think the issue for them is you cannot. 2 of the 3 goals have been scored on the power play. You can't go shorthanded. They're just too good a passing team. They play too well together. You can't do that, especially when you're the underdog. Not that it ever helps anybody, but penalties against Lewiston really hurt you. The stretch pass worked for Bangor once. It didn't the other time, although they got a decent shot. That's the old. Was it Sweden used to call it the torpedo? That's what they did. They in international play, they always try to send somebody, and you had to be watching all the time, because if he got loose, look out. And but for a game strategy, it's not a great idea, because as we said, you get caught 5-on-4 back in your own zone, and if he doesn't touch it, it's icing, and they're right back in your zone. So 2 out of the 3 things that could happen are negative, because the one that, if it happens, great, it's a goal. but that's a risk. They used to say it about passing a football. 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. So we'll see. I think for Bangor, they probably need to score a goal early. The longer it goes, I think the more you press, the more chances you take that maybe you probably shouldn't. And against a good team, those chances usually come back to haunt you. So I think if they could get a goal early, it might help them. Lewiston will be relentless. They're not going to give in. Bossy will keep them on the even keel by staying at home on defense and not trying to do too much. And as the other team wears down, in this case Bangor, that's when Lewiston, we were in this same spot, although I think it might have been 2-1 early in the year when we were here, and then all of a sudden they exploded and ended up winning 5-1. So you got to hang tough. I'm sure there's no moral victories in the playoffs. I've got to believe Bangor feels pretty good about this. Jacob Henry has stood on his head to keep this game close. 19-17 shots on goal. I mean, honestly, when was the last time we said that when Lewiston played? They're always way out in front, very big advantage in shots on goal.
Bangor has padded that stat a little bit with some of those dump-ins from center that are on target. And you'd certainly say quality scoring chances is probably a 3-1 margin in favor of the Blue Devils. But Henry's been sharp and can't take anything away from Conrad Albert. The seniors made a couple of tough saves, the biggest one coming on David Brown on that breakaway when it would have been a chance for another breakaway goal to make it a 1-goal contest. But he has done a good job, and Albert has been comfortable dealing with those sharp angle shots, making sure that he's not leaving anything soft rebound-wise up the middle. And for the Blue Devils, they know that as they've been in this situation time and time again over these last 3 years, when they are up in the third period of games, teams have to try and press a little bit more. You've got to pinch those defensemen, try to gamble and keep the puck in the zone. That's when this Blue Devils team especially can hurt you, because they don't miss when they have odd man rushes.
They have a tendency to be able to understand how to put their foot on the throat, and you got to be very careful that you don't get yourself into that situation for that to happen, because they're very good at it. They're playing at home. They've got that tradition. Two-time defending state champions. A lot of pride in that. I've been there myself, and you'd sure like to put that third one in the bucket.
It's a team that, I mean, they've lost the Travis A. Roy winner in Jeremy Rancourt, and you just go down the list of players that are not on this roster either through graduation or through going prep school or the junior hockey route. Cole Villette, Joe Bisson, Nick Bisson, the younger brother there, Alex Rivet, Brad McClellan, Sam Story, Cody Doyon, Tanner Cortez, lost goaltender Jacob Stroud, John-Luc Dostie, graduate. I mean, that is a ton of names to replace, but they've had just as much players step up and fill the gap. Willie Blanchett, Owen Cox, Sam LaRoche, St. Laurent, Marcoux, the Pomerleau brothers. Everyone's been able to step up and fill those necessary fields, and they've seen some of the players like Alex Robert go from being a second or third line option to a captain and leading scorer. And Jamie Bello gets a lot of credit. I think if they could finish off a three-peat this year, might go down as the most impressive win of the three.
Oh, I don't think it's any question. This is, and it's crazy to say, this is the least talented team, which is a crazy thing to say.
And still more talented than any other team.
And still more talented than pretty much
North.
everybody else. I think Tanner Cortez actually got hurt during football season and is out for the season. He got hurt in the playoff game, I believe, and not able to play this winter. So, and they still march on. You know, they're still having 50-plus kids try out for hockey here when everybody else is trying to make sure they can fill out their roster.
Well, they have got a good lead right now in this Blue Devils program, trying to see off the Bangor Rams, and they will then set their sights on facing off against the winner of that EL and St. Dom's game that's still to come in the second of our two-game doubleheader. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, third period action. Blue Devils with a 3-1 lead. Can they hold off Bangor down the stretch? Find out next on MBR.org and 105.5, Maine's Big Z.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
For 37 years, the Bowles family has been selling Napa Auto Parts in Hancock County, and every February they make the trip to Bangor, Portland, and Augusta to cheer on the local basketball teams. And with their new Napa Auto Parts stores in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford, they have some new teams to cheer for. Like the kids out on the court, the Bowles family understands that doing business takes teamwork and dedication. Whether you're getting a belt for your sled, running a garage, or keeping your car and truck in tip-top shape, they're here to help. Visit your locally owned Napa Auto Parts in Lewiston, Auburn, Lisbon, Farmingdale, and Oxford today.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Back inside the Androscoggin Bank Coliseum as we get the third period set to start. Alongside Dave Wing, I'm Caleb Lamb 15 minutes up on the clock. A 3-1 lead shows in favor of the home team, the number 1 seed Lewiston Blue Devils, dressed in white, moving from left to right in this third period. Nick Boudreau leading scorer for this Bangor Rams team. They've got their student section that have made the bus trip down with them fired up, hoping they will see 2 goals to the good for their Rams clad in the Road Scarlet jerseys to go ahead and tie this one up and potentially pull one of the biggest upsets that we'd have seen in especially Class A North in the last decade plus. Ready for the drop at center. The 216s, Boudreau and Robert, will square. Referees check with both goaltenders. Albert and Henry set to go. And we are back underway. One by Boudreau at center, and he'll knock it back for Cowperthwaite, sent up by David Brown, who nearly popped one in on the breakaway back in that second period. Offside whistled as Cowperthwaite touched it inside the blue line.
I wonder what took him so long to blow his whistle. He's standing right there. I kept thinking, what? Was that offside?
Linesman had his arm already in the air for delayed offside. Thought about putting it up again, realized that's not how that works, and then blew the play dead. So they'll bring it back to that far side dot for the faceoff, just outside the Lewiston end. One by Boudreau. Brown flips it deep. In after it is Higgs. Bossy's got pressure from both sides. Nicely done as he just knocks it aside for Wilson behind the net. Puck takes a deflection. Robert finds it up the left wing, skating in front of the Bangor bench. Wheels through Cowperthwaite, but Cowperthwaite incidentally got the puck with his skates. He had no idea, though, and wheeled away. Back up the far side. Boudreau fires this one. It got past everyone. They wanted to say that it took a touch, and the referee overrules his linesman to say, yes, it did, no icing. Cox upended by Scripture right in front of the blue line. He dumps it to the offensive zone, high and now low as it swings around the low corner. Soft little touch from Charlie Budd gave it away. That was a little too lackadaisical. Fired in from center by Ben Lane. Albert shimmies it off the left pad, and Owen Cox will take it from behind the net.
Another shot on goal.
Mathon back for Owen Cox. Drops it off for his junior defenseman partner. Tried to play it up, couldn't get it out of the zone. Bud had it between his skates, lost it though, and it's a one-on-one rush the other way. Ridgefield against Burpee. Goes behind him, looked to loft a backhand shot underneath the crossbar and roof it. He missed high. Puck's kept in the zone though by Cox from the far side point. Played around for Burpee, the defenseman. Shoots it back up the right wing side for Bud. Just rolls this one to center, gets as far as Cox. Played across for Dion. Just missed him off the boards. Played out to center, past Ben Lane. Found coming up the boards by Mathon, and it's poked up over the blue line into the offensive zone. Dion blocks the clear from Burpee, and will send this one deep. Burpee again stepping up to deliver a late hit. He's been penalized twice in this game and has cost his team. Needs to be careful there. Dion scores on a wrister through a screen, and no chance for Henry as his defenseman was standing put. He never saw it.
Didn't think Henry saw it at all. He didn't even react until everybody started cheering. Boy, that's a tough one, you know, as a goalie. If you can't see it, you can't stop it. I mean, you can do all the things you see a guy get up ready to shoot. You can drop down on the butterfly and you can do whatever, but you can't cover the things you can't see.
So once again, it's a goal less than 2 minutes into the period for the second straight time for the Lewiston Blue Devils to score. This one coming 1:56 in, and a 4-1 cushion might be enough to put them out of sight. Dion's got 2 in the game, and now just 6 goals total on the season. Nice job from him.
Well, we just said that the one thing Bangor needed to do is maybe score quickly. Not so much.
Dustin LaRochelle carrying around behind the net. A 4-1 cushion for the Lewiston Blue Devils. Thanks to that goal, the second of the contest from Dion, and a soft one allowed. There's been a couple that have squeaked through Henry, the one from Frechette on the power play being the other. And we've got a penalty upcoming.
No,
it's going to be interference. Blue Devils will be shorthanded. It's Frechette who picks up the minor, or check that rather, Wilson who's going to the box.
Yeah, there wasn't any question about that. At first, it was the linesman that called it, and I didn't realize that they would call it when there were 2 officials, but he did. It was very obvious.
Borderline plays for a defenseman where once a player sends the puck by you, how long can you hold him up for?
Used to be able to really take care of him, but now you can't veer out like that to go after him, and this actually tripped him.
Back in the old clutch and grab days of hockey, you could pretty much put him in a headlock and rub a couple of noogies on his forehead without getting called. Now you've got to stay out of that lane. But coming in, Sherwood to the backhand. Albert, the left pad save. Net came off its moorings, but a huge stop there on the power play.
He went right by everybody. I kept thinking, okay, somebody's going to, check him. Nothing, right straight through.
Now Sherwood with a fantastic move to dial that one up through the middle and nearly tucked one home.
They could have used the goal there. Blue Devils dodged a bullet there, I think.
Third power play chance for Bangor. They were 0 for 2. They had a 5-on-3 back in the first period. Fired from the point by Sherwood. Missed everybody. Bounced back to Cowperthwaite at the left point. He couldn't keep it in. And Sherwood has to come across to cancel out that shorthanded chance that was developing for Robert. Played across. Boudreau in over the blue line. He fires from distance. Stick save Albert. Boudreau wrapping around behind with it. Trying to walk in front. He was sealed off by Frechette. This one's cleared up but not out. Sherwood stopping it short of the blue line. From the right point, Arrows one. Difficult height, but Boudreau did the best he could with it. Played back to the point, and it's sent behind by Jacob Monroe. Higgs, the goal scorer for Bangor tonight on the breakaway back in the second period early. From the hash marks, top of the circle, goes across. One-time blast, save Albert. Got the stick to it.
Nice passing and a nice shot.
54 seconds to go in the power play time. Shot from the right point. That one was well off target, but nearly acrobatically directed on target from a leaping backheel kick from David Brown. Couldn't get it to go, and it's cleared. Both teams will change up the line. 40 seconds to go in the penalty to Wilson. Started ahead, chipped over, but Gunnar Wade knocked it down and had to be backhanded deep by Alex Inman. Came actively off the boards, and it's shrugged away off the stick of Albert. Stolen away from Hunter Neal and skated to center before it's dumped into the offensive end by Gunnar Wade. Bangor from their own zone. Here's Bud. Gets around the forechecker La Rochelle. He'll go through center. He's got a head of steam. Goes across the blue line to the left wing circle. Dumps it on target. Stick save made to the far boards. And this one's tapped down the ice by La Rochelle to kill off the remaining seconds. Back to 5-on-5. Bangor a good chance on the power play. Just couldn't cash in. They still trail by 3. 4-1 game, 10:20 remaining. Stopped by Evan Cox. And nearly came up with another one again as this one was cleared all the way down. Albert reached across and stopped it. Was going to be icing. Bossy a little frustrated with his goaltender as he has to rush back to retrieve it. Now he's hassled by 2. Got a nice pass off for Robert. Captain to captain and over the blue line. Robert, right wing circle. And he shoots into the glove. Henry, nice job to seal off the near post with 9:55 to go in the game. So the Blue Devils in control of this one thanks to that goal early on by Cam Dion. And we've seen Bangor make a pretty good go of this, but they just haven't had those high-quality scoring chances from in close, the ones where you're one-on-one with the goaltender, you're not shooting from a sharper angle, the ones where you can choose where you want that one to go. It's been a lot of low shots that Albert has dealt with, and right now it's going to be a tall task for the Rams to come back. But they're far from giving up on this one. Still playing good hockey as they have been since the last 5 minutes of that second period.
Yeah, another nice pass by Bossy.
Evan Cox putting the wrist shot onto the stick. Poked free by Brown. Boudreau lost it behind. Bossy broke his stick and has to go to the bench. Higgs trying to retrieve it. Couldn't get there. Found by Cox before he changed, and he just blasts it down the ice. No icing since he was on the other side of center. Played past Ben Brook, who was hustling after it. Sophomore couldn't get there. Could be a 2-on-1 developing. Dion on a hat trick. Steered aside. Left toe saved by Henry. Senior forward Cam Dion. Scored a couple of goals early in the season, but was far from being a regular contributor to the score sheet. But he is on fire tonight. Blanchett trying to swing that one around. Turned it over. Centered in front. Just got tapped free of the cage as Ridgefield starts it ahead. Dion goes back to him. Up the middle, Cowperthwaite sends it away. Chipped through center. Stick was prone on the ice. That's the one that Bossy had to drop when it broke on him. Fired in, wide of the net. Cowperthwaite letting that one fly. You'd expect somebody like Nick Boudreau perhaps to step up for this Bangor team when they need someone to go and pop a goal in, especially as we get to the midway point of this third period now. They need to be able to score at least one to set up that chance for a frantic finish. Swept through the crease. Bud had his stick lifted, so no chance to get a shot away. Cowperthwaite back to his own end to retrieve it. Stopped short of the goal line, so no icing. Long pass ahead. Stick came into play again this time as Ben Lane got a touch to it. Cowperthwaite, 2 players coming after it. Bud swings this one in off the hand of Wilson in behind the net for Lewiston. Under 8 minutes to go. Boudreau trying to hold it there on the right wing. Could not. Burpee took a swing at it, missed it as that one was hopping across the blue line. Missed by Wilson as he tried to glove it down and carry it with him, but Jacob Story there to help out. Sends it around for Ben St. Laurent in the far corner. He's tied up. Puck jammed free by Brown. Carried through center by Wilson. And he'll just bounce one in on target. Glove save by Henry, and he has to eat it with Frechette, the first man to it. 7:21 to go in this third period, and so far it's just been a smart game in this third period with the 3-goal cushion, Dave, that they're just going to send this puck around, keep possession of it, don't do anything silly, but also make sure they've got multiple players behind every one of the Bangor Rams.
You can tell they've been told team defense, nothing stupid, stay out of the penalty box.
Back to the point it comes, an outlet pass for Higgs as he goes around Wilson. And Wilson diving headlong, able to stop that one. Centered for Higgs, backhand shot, did it swerve through? It did! Might have been tapped home on the rebound by Brown.
I think so.
Albert had some trouble with it as he tried to get his stick down to it, missed that. It was in and amongst his pads but wasn't covered. And Brown, I think, poked it through the 5-hole. And on cue, they get the goal they needed. They're down by 2 still. But with 7:08 left to go, they've got some confidence, some momentum, and they may still have a chance.
Big goal. That was a big goal. They stuck with it. You couldn't tell exactly what they were going to do, and put it in the net.
And there's a stoppage from the official here, who's just looking at the ice. I think that area where the stick was down is a little bit messed up, and he's asking for a water bottle from the Bangor bench. Try and clear out that rut. So time of the goal coming at the 8:52 mark, or excuse me, 7:52 mark. I knew I was going to do that time calculation incorrectly.
I'm glad you did it. I'm getting enough toes for that. I'm getting enough toes for that.
So a 4-2 lead, and with this little stoppage here, it's a chance for both coaches to kind of talk to their players. But it looks like it's just a small little divot, so they're just packing some shaved ice from the skates. They'll pour some water on it, and like a chef whipping up a masterpiece,
there it is.
This referee crew knows what to do, and they'll get the puck rubbed across.
See, now when I do games with Aaron, he loves to remind me that he went to Northwestern. So I say, well, then any math problems, you have to take care of those because I only went to Maine, thank you.
And thankfully, I went to Syracuse, where math not a specialty.
And proud of it. One of my best friends from high school went to Syracuse. She was a journalism major. Ended up doing some TV production stuff and moved back to Maine eventually.
Sounds like a smart cookie.
As she should. She was a smart cookie.
7:08 to go here. We're all set to get back underway after that slight delay. The surface to keep your eye on is right in front of the Bangor bench towards the dot as a shot sent in on target and an awkward blocker save from Albert.
Yeah, he didn't know where it was.
From distance. Turned over. Boudreau got past him back to the point. Burpee didn't get a lot on that backhander, and his team's in trouble. Cox steaming to the front of the net. Robert backhands for him too high, and he couldn't link up for a one-time shot. Now Bangor comes the other way. Higgs gets away from Cox once again. Has to slam on the brakes. Centered for Boudreau. Pass was behind him and it got away. It's taken by Robert. Captain smartly putting it through the legs of his man before dumping one in that bounced right in front. Henry couldn't catch it. Could only deflect it into the corner.
Good end-to-end action.
Taken away by LeBlanc. From the goal line. Swivels it in front. Higgs was expecting it as both defensemen behind the net tried to lay the hit on, and they both fell down in the process. Bud will get this one chipped in, calling for a line change. Bud doing his best to keep that one in the zone on the forecheck as Dion backhands one down the ice. Won't be icing as it bobbles to a stop. Ridgefield got contact to it to at least force it away from Devo. Played up by Sherwood. Bud through center. From the blue line, fires on, stick save made. Came out to a nice angle, but nobody close enough to get a shot. Devo back for Sherwood. Trouble with it. Knocks it back for his defenseman. Fires. Glove save. Albert hangs on.
I think that was going wide, but again, a good bid because you never know. It could get tipped by somebody in the net.
And you'd rather hang on to it, bring a stoppage with 5:39 to go. Just see this one out the rest of the way for the Blue Devils, who find themselves up by 2 goals still, but having scored early, they've now given up one, and it's always better to have been the team that scored most recent in terms of momentum. Wilson now taking that one off the draw, fanned on the clearance, but got the job done well enough to get to Frechette, and he's smart enough to do the rest. Wheels his way through a couple, fires from distance, just past the blocker, or I should say the glove of Henry. Sent back towards the front of the net. It'll be picked up by Cowperthwaite. Defenseman plays it long. Wilson under pressure from Ben Lane. Got through everyone. It'll go as far as Anthony Cassesi, the sophomore defenseman, chipping up. Wilson gets away from Brown. Angled off the boards. Boudreau lost the puck as he was preparing to pull the trigger. Ben St. Laurent fired. Rolled off the backside of his blade, so he didn't get much purchase on the shot. Cowperthwaite with 5 minutes remaining here in the third period. Played up, not quite that far as Boudreau finds it at center. Offside as Brown was across the blue line on the left.
Then in the makings of a decent offensive play, but I think he thought he was going to go across the blue line, but he angled a little bit more towards the boards, and it took longer than they thought.
Boudreau pulled off one too many moves there and threw off his line mate as this one's dumped into the offensive end. Across it comes, capped on the breakout. Evan Cox from center fires it in deep. All the way around to the left wing corner. LeBlanc plays it in for Robert. Touched on for Evan Cox. Played in front. Shot from LeBlanc tied up as Burpee got stick-to-stick contact. Robert goes back. One-time blast from Cox. Didn't get much on that and sent it well wide. Turned over to Brown. Boudreau full head of steam. Pass for him. Took multiple deflections and went wide. Delayed offside. And it will be whistled down for offside before Higgs could get out. And Higgs calling for Brown to send that pass the other way. Boudreau drew a lot of attention as he was steaming up ice and had all eyes on him. That left Brown relatively open, albeit for a longer pass up the left wing side. Face off at the near dot, just outside the Lewiston end. 4:06 to go in the third period. It's a 2-goal lead for the Blue Devils, the #1 seed here in our regional semifinal of Class A North. Winner of this moves on to play the winner of St. Dom's and Edward Little, our second game in the doubleheader tonight. It'll be coming to you right after this one. That will be the regional final showdown for whoever emerges from that game to play the winner of this contest. Lost it center from Sherwood, just stabs at it to poke it on for Charlie Budd. Dropped from Story to Wilson. Ridgefield turned it over. Budd drops it on there on the entry. Nice setup here. Monroe fired one off the boards. Wilson only got it as far as Ben Lane to the corner. Jacob Story sending around. Wilson. Kept in by Monroe. From the slot. Fires just over the crossbar. Came down for Sherwood. Put it wide of the far post. Still in the zone though. 3:15 to go in the third period. Bangor needs 2 to tie. Played up and over the blue line from center. Shot in, gloved by Wilson. Breakout passes on. He just missed field, and it's icing. 3 minutes even remaining here.
Just over the wrong shoulder. Otherwise, that's a breakaway.
Field was looking the other way. Puck went the other and couldn't catch up to it. In high school hockey, of course, icing doesn't mean you can't change, so no harm, no foul there. Off the draw, Bossy will fire this one around far side. Frechette got a touch to it. St. Laurent trying to get in behind to get there against Davo. And he ties him up. Puck turned over. Frechette, Bossy, right wing circle, glove save. Henry sealed it off nicely.
Never seen Bossy take so many shots. Great. He's such a good player.
Talented release. He can fire it quickly and he can change the angle by changing his flex, so he can just as easily release a high snapper or a low one like he did there. On the tie-up, Justin La Rochelle wins the draw. Owen Cox, right point, gives it off. Frechette at the hash marks. Swivels around Boudreau, shot from the point, another glove save. Very good, we can say, Jacob Henry at being able to seal that one off.
Yes.
As he comes across, make sure that his left arm, nearest his near post, forms a straight line and that his glove is at the bottom of that, so he's hanging on to it. Doesn't leave any creases for a puck to slide through.
Spoken like a true goaltender.
2:34 remaining. There was a mouth guard prone on the ice. Referee came back to retrieve it. Belongs to Reed Higgs. Ready for the draw here. La Rochelle lost out on it. Scripture sends it up the far side boards. Bounced away from Bud, but the attempt to dump it back in deep from St. Laurent failed. Lewiston just keeping the puck moving. 2.5 to go in the game. 4-2 lead for the Blue Devils. Pass got through center. Frechette took a whack at it. Awkward bounce got away. Bud gets it into the zone. Looking at the bench, we'll see if Bangor pulls the goaltender sooner rather than later to try to go for the extra attacker. And a bid to tie this one up in the state playoffs. Frechette finds the loose puck through center and comes in with Cox. Cuts to the slot. Backdoor pass for him. Cox had it steered away. Didn't really link up well enough to get what he wanted for a shot. Just tried to make sure it hit the target. Owen Cox lost it off his forehand. Turned over. Pass through center. Touched off Brown. Shouldn't be icing as it touched his skate. Referees missed it.
Wow, missed that. We saw it tip it.
You could hear the audio of it clicking off his blade on the way through center, and he was right on top of the center ice dot. 1:41 to go in the third period here. If Bangor gets it deep on the other end of the ice, you'll expect to see Henry go into the net for the extra attacker. Blue Devils will then try to score in the empty net to seal this one off. 2-goal cushion already for him.
Yeah, I think Coach just mentioned it to his assistant.
Centered in front. Loose puck on the doorstep. Wraparound score, and that's going to do it. Defenseman couldn't find it in front. Monroe had it in between his skates, and Robert pounced in a flash, and he rounds Henry to deposit it on the backside, and that's going to make it a moot point with 1:31 to go. Blue Devils will be moving on.
Yeah, you know, you look at this, you know, as a goaltender, you look at the score and you go, wow, 5 goals. Boy, he has played fantastic, and more than half of those goals weren't his fault. That one certainly wasn't.
Just a turnover by his team in front of him, and bad things usually happen. Alex Robert, the captain, pouncing for the goal. So I don't think Bangor will pull their goaltender the rest of the way here. 14th of the season for Robert. This one's dumped into the offensive end. Back to the blue line. It skipped over the stick there, and they have to clear to get back onside. And you expect seniors will be making their final shift for the Bangor Rams in just a moment here. Fired, down low, loose in front. Turnaround chance might have been there, but couldn't be pulled by Inman. Back to the point. It did leave the blue line, so it's lofted into the glove. Albert will knock it down there for Wilson. 50 seconds to go. Well, the Lewiston Blue Devils challenged a little bit as they have been this year. It hasn't been quite as flashy as it's been in years past, but this team still has only been defeated twice, and it's going to take someone knocking them off, not just coming close, but actually beating them to take the crown from their hands. Cowperthwaite starts this one up the far side, just out of the reach of Caleb Metcalf, the senior forward. In after it as well, Sean Hyatt not going to get there in time. It's icing with 19.6 seconds remaining.
You know, again, going back to Bangor's side of things, too many times just chipping the puck out and really not great passing through center ice, because if they could have generated a little more speed in passing through, you know, this was a night that Lewiston wasn't quite as good as we've seen them be on a regular basis. Good enough, mind you, but not as good as we've seen them typically.
It's a senior shift here for the final one for the Bangor Rams. One back to the point. Shot, broken stick from Charlie Budd. Not the way he wants it to go. He flings it to the bench and heads back there. Boudreau will step on. 10 seconds to go as it's cleared down in behind the net. Swept off the near side boards. Boudreau gets to it. Forces it away. Metcalf trying to lug it out of the zone as the clock runs out. The Lewiston Blue Devils pick up the 5-2 victory in their first playoff game of 2018. They win the matchup in Class A North Regional semifinal action. They'll move on to play the winner of St. Dom's and Edward Little. And for the Bangor Rams and head coach Quinn Parody, their season comes to a close. Once again at the hands of the Blue Devils in the state playoffs, but a fantastic year for them. They'll end the season at 11-8, and they definitely pushed this Blue Devils team tonight.
Well, 2 times that we saw them this year, it was pretty typical just like this. And like I said, I remember the old days when the scores were literally 20-2, or more likely 20-0. And they have come a long ways, and I'm sure this is not a satisfying night for them, but again, pretty good effort.
Their senior class, Ethan Scripture, the defenseman, along with their forward unit, featuring Caleb Metcalf, Charlie Budd, Ben Lane, who had a lot of hard work in there tonight, Alex Inman, as well as their goaltender Zach Alden, who split games with Jacob Henry this year. That'll be the end of the road for them, but a great season it was. Bangor showing that they're getting close, and they certainly made some noise with some good games throughout this season. But it's the Lewiston Blue Devils who will move on and will once again pose a threat, as they will have a matchup against one of their big rivals, either EL or St. Dom's, to decide who goes to the state title game. Both teams head down the tunnels as the coaches shake hands at center ice. And the referees congratulate both teams as well on a job well done. You're not going to want to miss our next one, though. An 8 p.m. puck drop scheduled about 20 minutes from now, perhaps a little bit later start after they make ice and have the warm-ups. Will feature St. Dom's and Edward Little, and that one should be a fun one, Dave.
Should be fun. They played tough. Last time they played, EL beat them in overtime. So I would expect something similar.
The rubber match between the two teams who split the season series in the regular season. Recapping the scoring for you for the final time here. Dion got things going in the first. He ended up with 2 goals. Frechette and Bossy having his effort redirected by La Rochelle. The 2 power play tallies, those were on the other side of a Higgs goal in the second period, and Brown able to knock one through. But Alex Robert, the captain for Lewiston, putting a cap on things as he swiped the puck in front of the crease and was able to score with just a minute and a half remaining to cap a 5-2 win. That's your final score for the final time. For my broadcast partner, Dave Wing, and of course, for our producers, Tyler here on site, and our producer back in the studio, Alex. I want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you in a few minutes' time, hopefully, right here on 105.5 after a quick break when we get St. Dom's and Edward Little underway. Signing off from the Androscoggin Bank Coliseum, you've been listening to MPA State Hockey Tournament coverage on MBR.org and 105.5 Maine's Big Z.